The woman who used to come to me every day to learn Arabic, the Egyptian colloquial dialect, one day she disappeared. She was telling me before that her boyfriend was starting to suspect that she's meeting someone else. I'm Teresa Khalil. I'm a writer, a documentary filmmaker from Egypt. I spent most of my life in the Arabic world and now I live in Europe. And before I live in Europe, I was living in Sharm el-Sheikh. It's a touristic city by the Red Sea in Egypt. And I was always curious about the West, Westerners. I always wanted to make friends with them, understand them. I was watching a lot of TV programs and movies, all from the West. So I was curious to discover for myself, is there a difference between real life and what I watch? So in this video, I'm going to share with you my story when I decided to teach Arabic for foreigners. So I'm a computer engineer at that time, but I started to realize that I'm not enjoying engineering at all. I'm a creative person. I'm someone who like to discover new cultures, do different activities, artistic activities. So I started experimenting with many things, and because I was curious about foreigners, what we call when we say foreigners in Egypt, we usually mean people in the West. So I was curious about people who are foreigners and I wanted to make friends with them. To be honest, I was going to many places where I expect foreigners to be there. So I remember there was a church in Egypt where it was dedicated for foreigners. Huh? Although I wasn't interested in the church itself, but I just used to go to meet foreigners and see who are they, what they are thinking about, and how they are behaving and all that. So another thing I used to do was to go to a cafe called Cilantro in Cairo, and that cafe was very classy, very elegant, and it was welcoming foreigners as well. Because, as I said, in Egypt there is a very big difference in the social levels. So Cilantro Cafe is supposed to be for the classy, for the what they call it, the A level clients. So I used to go to Cilantro because they have the fresh juices and I care for healthy living. So as I was there, I found a magazine called Community Times. It was in English and it was targeting the foreigners in Cairo or in Egypt. And so I was reading this magazine and I found that there are some foreigners who they have advertisements where they want to learn Arabic, okay? They want someone to teach them the colloquial dialect of the of the country they are in, whether they are for a job or married to an Egyptian or whatever. So when I found that, I just thought, okay, I'm very good at classical Arabic because I was raised in Saudi Arabia. I was at the schools in Saudi Arabia, so my classical Arabic is amazing, and this is my book in Arabic. And also, of course, the colloquial Egyptian dialect is like it's what I speak every day. So I decided to teach Arabic for foreigners, and I went to somewhere where they have old books, what do you call second-hand books and things like that. And I found a book. It was from the American University in Cairo, for teaching foreigners Arabic, but it was so old, from, I don't know, from the 50s or something, or the 60s. It was ancient, but when I looked into it, I found that it's actually very good. It was full of conversations, and just maybe some words were like we don't use anymore in our modern Egyptian colloquial, but I can change that. So I took that book and it was my inspiration for teaching Arabic for foreigners. I bought it for 5 Egyptian pounds, which was so cheap. And then I started teaching Arabic for foreigners. I charged 40 Egyptian pounds for 1 hour, which was a lot, not for the foreigners, but for me as an Egyptian. So it was a good business idea. And I started teaching Arabic for foreigners, getting to know those, because every time I teach someone, we just become friends, you know. So I would immediately start going out with the person. And I had actually in my book Love Surfing, which is coming soon in English, that's how I had the first, I would say, crush. This guy that I admired so much and I wanted to marry him. And of course, the details of the story is in the book. But he was my student. He wanted to learn Arabic, and I was his teacher. And I guess there are many foreigners who do this as well, especially men, foreign men, Western men. They start learning the language, especially if the one teaching is an Egyptian female, because they have, all those fantasies that they can have a relation with an Egyptian, which of course will never happen. But anyway, so I put an advertisement in that magazine, Community Times, and I started having people contacting me and they want me to teach them Arabic. And I had many stories. One of them is, like I said, my first love story, which was just from my side. And then I was teaching a child. His father was Egyptian, his mother wasn't. And then I had a woman, a foreign woman who was married to an Egyptian, and her husband didn't want her to go anywhere. And so I had to go to her at home to teach her, and she was always complaining about her. She was always trying to understand. The lesson was more, how can I understand this Egyptian husband, because I don't know why he's doing this to me. And he was just a controlling husband. That's all. I mean. And then, as I moved to Sharm el-Sheikh, I even got more and more opportunities to teach Arabic for foreigners, because there were a lot of foreigners in Sharm. And many of them were old women, especially from the UK. Women who are over 70 years old, or 50, 60, 70. They come to Sharm because Sharm is known for Egyptian men prostitution, they would say. There are a lot of young Egyptian men who have financial problems, and they find it's a good chance to be in a relation with a Western woman. Old, doesn't matter, as long as she's going to pay the everything. And I have actually part in my Sharmar movie, which I filmed, where uh, they were talking about that.
أنا مدام إليشا
Io detto Ibrahim scrivi
حبيبة قلبي، يعني اللي أنا هدية ربنا ليا كل شباب مصر، مش أنا بس طبعا 70%. اللي هو بتطلب متطلبات كبيرة، فاهم؟ الستات الروسيات الحلوين اللي زي كده ما بخسرش الواحد حاجة خالص، بأجرهم الشقة، يجيبوا أكل كويس وشرب كويس، ولو حصل مشكلة ولا حاجة جنب الواحد يوقفوا جنب بعض يساعدوه.
And so I had that woman who she was over 70, and she wanted me to teach her Arabic, and I used to go to her and teach her. I gave her the first lesson. I came the next time, try to build on the first lesson, but I discovered that she doesn't remember nothing, so I repeated the first lesson again. And then the third time she didn't remember nothing. I repeated the lesson again. And most of the lesson she was talking to me about her boyfriend, who was Egyptian boyfriend in his 20s. He was a pharmacist, and he convinced her that he want to have a pharmacy in Cairo, and she financed this project. So she gave him 100,000 British pounds to make this pharmacy. And since she doesn't see him much, and he's in Cairo most of the time, and he tell her that it's because of the project, but she suspect that there is another woman, and that's why she wanted to learn Arabic, to read his messages on the phone. And the problem is that, of course, she was too old to learn, and because I had many of those people who are over 70 and they wanted to learn the language, to be honest, I felt sorry for them that they pay 40 Egyptian pounds every hour, and I feel that they are not going to learn the language, right? So I used to tell them that there is no need, I don't recommend that you continue the classes. And this is something that I think was a mistake from my side, because now, after I know what I know now, when you are in at this old age and you do something mental, learn a language or do some mental exercises or something, this actually build connections in your brain, and it improve your brain. So now I regret doing that, or I don't regret, but if I went back, I would do it differently. That I would tell them that it's okay to learn. I mean, I would continue teaching them even if I had to always repeat the first lesson, because I know that this is good for their brains. Before I thought it's bad for their pocket, you know. So anyway, so later on I discovered from that woman is that the guy actually really was in a relation with an Egyptian. He got engaged to an Egyptian young girl after he took her money, you know. So this story repeated many times, but I don't think that those women are stupid. I think they buy with their money what they need, which is love, someone to make them feel young again, you know. So I'm sure that they know in advance that this guy is deceiving them, but they just do it anyway because they need this. The other story I had when I was teaching Arabic for foreigners is that woman who was also in a relation with an Egyptian boyfriend. She was, I think, I don't remember, she was German maybe. So she wanted to surprise her Egyptian boyfriend by speaking uh, in Arabic in front of him suddenly as a surprise. And so she used to come to me every day. She was working in a diving center, and she used to come to me every day before her working hours. And we take 1 hour of the class, and she was doing very well because she was so serious about it. She comes every day, not once or twice per week. Every day she come and she learned, and she was improving amazingly. But then one time she came to me and her boyfriend called her, and she was tensioned because she doesn't want him to know that she's learning. So he called her and we continued the class, but this time she was like, Trace, I'm sorry, I have to go. He's going crazy. And it turned out that he was suspecting that she's in a relation with another man, and that's why she leave early every day. And she left, and she never came back, and she never contacted me again. And I thought something bad happened to her, that he murdered her or something. But I really didn't know what to do. But a year later, I met her in a bus in Sharm. I was like, hey, where are you? Where have you been? And she said, oh, Teresa, I'm done with that guy. I don't allow someone to suspect my behavior. And she finished the relation. And so when she finished the relation, she didn't find a point in learning Egyptian colloquial because she was learning for him. So yeah, so it was crazy, like teaching Arabic for foreigners. I have a lot of stories. I can write another book about the people I was teaching and their stories. And I continued actually doing that because it was a hobby for me. I enjoyed it so much. I wanted through it to discover other cultures. But now, as I'm living in Europe, I don't find it interesting anymore because I'm already living with foreigners. I have foreign or Western friends, and my husband is a Westerner, you know? So it is not for me enjoyable as it used to be, so I don't do that anymore. But because the course is so good and I was teaching it for about 20 years, I thought to make it as an online course. And I started on Skillshare. I will leave a link to it if you want to check it out, but this is not the whole thing. This is just the beginning. But I'm planning to make it because it's a very good course that make people really speak Egyptian colloquial or colloquial Egyptian dialect and I don't want it to go to waste, because I would say I revived this course that I found in a very old book, in second-hand books on the street in Egypt. So I am planning to make it in an online course. When, I don't know yet. But until that time, if you want to talk to me, I have listening sessions. If you have something on your mind, you just want to speak up in a safe space without judgment. I also have creative journaling circle where we meet, we do relaxing exercises and journaling exercises, and you will connect to a very nice community, very supportive. And I hope I will have my love surfing book in English soon. So you can find all what I offer in my shop on teresakhalil.com. If you enjoy my stories and you want to support me telling stories and helping you to share yours, feel free to support me here. I think there is a super thanks available now. I'm still not monetized yet on this English channel. And see you soon.